Ladies and gents, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel, right here on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. We are less than 24 hours removed from SummerSlam, and, of course, we sit less than 5 hours away from NXT TakeOver 36. This is the official rewind for SummerSlam 2021, which, of course, streamed live on Peacock last night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, if you notice, there is a new setup right here. I got my mic with me now, and I am planning on recording on my laptop going forward. I understand that the format may not be as clear as it was on my phone. I got the new OBS software update. Hopefully, it comes in clear on the video on YouTube.com. Going forward, I'll be recording on my laptop for all my videos, the rundown, the rewind, interviews, if I do interviews, and then obviously streaming with the Lightning Flash update, as you can see. Please let me know what you think of the new format. Please let me know how the quality is coming in. Please let me know if my microphone is coming in okay as well. And normally I'd be a little bit more energetic. I'd be a little bit more amped up, be a little bit more hyped up. I'd be bouncing off the walls. I'd be a little bit more witty, be a little bit more charismatic. I'd be a little bit more animated, doing a lot of flamboyant mannerisms and hand gestures. Normally, I'd say a lot of crazy things. Fuck Charlotte Flair, Oldberg, Cocaine Beardberg, White Castle Pritchard. My name's Mr. John Laurinaitis. The whole shtick, whole shabam. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Dogs, cats, guinea pigs. I'd be combing my mustache. I'd be combing my sideburns, my beard, this glorious sideburn chin strap combo. When I'm on YouTube, it's the best time to be on YouTube. Yada, yada, yada. I don't have the energy for that. I don't. I don't have the energy for that, and I just don't have the passion for that. At least not now. At least not today. And it's not just because I'm recording this directly after SummerSlam and it's late. You guys are seeing this before TakeOver, so you're seeing this Sunday afternoon. I'm going to try not to yell. I'm going to try not to scream. I'm going to try not to go over the top. Because I really want you all to understand where I'm coming from with what I'm going to say as far as this show goes. I share the same love and passion for pro wrestling as a lot of fans. The real fans, not the casual fans. Because casual fans, they are not real fans. They just watch to kill 2-3 hours of their time. Casual fans are not real fans. Casual fans are cancers to professional wrestling. Talking about the fans that watch religiously. It is very hard for me to sit here and watch what we are watching, and I've said it numerous times. The only reason why I'm still watching is because I have a great group of people, an amazing group of people that are going to take time out of their day to watch what I have to say as far as this show relates, or any show related to World Wrestling Entertainment. This was supposed to be the biggest show of the year. This was supposed to be the most important show of the year for WWE. This was supposed to be a big night. But WWE, it's like they realized that they were never even going to come close to the level of excitement and the level of hype and the level of buzz that we saw just 2 nights ago from Chicago in the United Center on AEW Rampage, The First Dance, the second ever episode of Rampage. And we had CM Punk make his return after over 7 years away from professional wrestling to a thunderous ovation. Everyone collectively was rejoicing. The internet broke. Numerous wrestling t-shirt sites completely broke. It broke Pro Wrestling Tees. It broke AEWshop.com. Because so many people wanted to buy that CM Punk shirt. It's like they realized that they were never even going to come close to the amount of buzz that AEW generated with the return of CM Punk, so they just legitimately threw everyone out there, no creative plans, no direction, no regard for the future, and they just winged it. And they expected that to go over well in the end, and it didn't. The main problem with WWE is exactly what I've been stating for a very long time. If you have been a regular listener of the channel, if you have been a loyal subscriber, a loyal DJ Storms Posse member, if you will know what I'm going to say next. See so many people making up excuses as to why WWE is in the state that it's in. Oh, they're making money. They gotta make money. I'm sorry, I don't understand how making money constitutes with putting out terrible programming. There's no reason why you can't make money and put on a good show at the same time. That's what people don't seem to comprehend. Oh, they're making money. Okay, that's what a company should be doing, but you can still make money and put on a good show. Common logic, but I don't expect anything less from wrestling fans because wrestling fans are brain-dead cretins. It's not the fact that they're making money. It's not the fact that they're a publicly traded company, which kind of ties into the money excuse that people use. It's not the fact that they're PG. It's not the fact that they're PG. Because NXT was PG for 7 years, and it was the best wrestling show that the WWE has ever produced in this current era. It's not any of those reasons. We don't need the Attitude Era back. We don't need them to go back to being a private company. We don't need their revenue to go down. It's not any of these reasons as to why they are in the state that they are in. The reason why WWE is in the state that it's in, and the reason why we got the show that we got last night, plain and simple, they don't care. They don't care. This company does not care. This company does not have one singular ounce of care as far as the quality of their television program goes. And people need to realize that the reason why WWE is in the state that it's in, the reason why they're doing so financially well, it's not because the shows are good. Shows are terrible. Shows are absolutely terrible. They're not making money because their shows are drawing in interest in viewers. They're not making money because they are putting on quality television shows. They're making money because Vince McMahon, no matter how terrible he is as a creative booker, he is very well smartest businessman on the planet today. Vince McMahon has every single solitary business tactic up his sleeve that he has learned from being in the realm of business for so many years, half of his life, pretty much. Vince McMahon has business tactic after business tactic after business tactic hidden up his sleeve that he can pull out at any given moment to make this company money within minutes. It is extremely frustrating to watch this company. It really is. Seeing what we saw last night and the lack of care, the way that WWE just shits all over its future, completely disregards everything, and does shit to merely pop a rating. They don't even know what they're doing anymore. They don't even know what they're doing anymore. It is beyond comprehension how there are individuals out there that find excuses, pull excuses out of their ass to try and support this company. I have no problem with being positive. I am a very positive individual outside of what I do. My family and friends that know me. I am a very, very, very positive individual outside of YouTube, outside of pro wrestling, outside of this brand that I've created here. I'm a very positive individual. But there's absolutely no reason to be positive about things that are not positive. There was more negative aspects about this show than there were positives. And the more that I watch this show, the more it becomes apparent that WWE, they're just doing what they can to get by. They don't care about the quality of their show because inevitably they are going to sell off the company to what looks to be NBC Universal. They're going to sell the company to NBC Universal at the end of all of this. I wouldn't be surprised if more individuals are released. I wouldn't be surprised if the shows continue to get worse. I wouldn't be surprised if the only good aspects about the shows as we speak are just completely eradicated. I don't know what the future holds for WWE, but after everything that has gone on, especially this historic week in pro wrestling, what was supposed to be one of the biggest weeks in pro wrestling of this era, and this was the show that they gave us, WWE should legitimately be ashamed of themselves. And anyone that supports what we saw, and anyone that even wants to come up with the slightest excuse, and even attempt to say that this show was even halfway decent, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should stop watching wrestling altogether, because you are ruining this community, and you are ruining society as a whole. I don't care. I've had it up to here with this company. I've had it up to here with these shills. I've had it up to here, period. I'm sick of it. And it's days like this, it's times like this, it's shows like this, in which I wish that I never created this brand. I wish I never did. I wish that this brand wasn't a thing, so I wouldn't have to sit here and watch this. I wish this brand wasn't a thing, so I didn't have to sit here and record this. I wish that this brand wasn't a thing, so that way I can just relax. I don't have to worry about it, and I would only be reviewing AEW, Dynamite, and Rampage. Those are the real wrestling shows. Those are the wrestling shows for wrestling fans. And if you're a fan of WWE, and you're still supporting this shit, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on everyone that tries to defend what we saw. What we were subjected to was perhaps the worst pay-per-view of the entire year. Maybe one of the worst SummerSlams of all time. I really don't want to be here. I'm not even lying to you. I really don't want to be here. I'm going to try my best to get through this. I am not as animated. I am not as hyped up. I just have no energy. I just have no motivation. I have nothing left. This company has just absolutely killed all the passion, all the energy that I have. And I have no energy to rant, yell, scream, do backflips, flail my arms around, scream at the top of my lungs, curse and rant and go on and on and on and on. I just have no energy to do it. And what good would it do for me either? What good would it do for me to just sit here and yell and scream into the microphone like a raging lunatic with a vein popping out of my forehead? What good would it do? What good would it do to blow out my voice when I'm recovering from a cold? What good would it do? I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best to get through this. I'm going to try my best to dissect everything, and hopefully, I will give you guys a show worthy of being put on the DJ Storms channel, and hopefully I will give you guys a fairly decent rewind for SummerSlam. Hopefully, you enjoy this a lot more than you enjoyed SummerSlam. But to those of you who are joining me before TakeOver tonight on the Peacock, of course, Peacock, before you join me for TakeOver and before we review TakeOver, I would like to thank each and every single one of you for joining me here on the Rewind for SummerSlam. I am, of course, DJ Storms. If you have not already done so, please make sure you follow me on Instagram at TheDJStorms. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com, like the official DJ Storms business page. And I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms posse group on Facebook. That is. Those links are in the description. I would like to send out a special thank you to Hibiki TMD, who had me on his channel last week for the Hibiki High Spots, where we reviewed SummerSlam 1998. That is up on his channel right now. The link is in the description. Please go and check that out if you missed it. Also, Lightning Flash update from Friday if you missed that. We discussed a lot. Sasha Banks did end up missing SummerSlam, as you saw last night, which we are going to talk about. We will talk about. We also talked about NXT apparently going back to a taped format schedule, and Andrade being originally in the plans to beat Kenny Omega for the AAA Mega Championship, but AEW changed the plans. However, Andrade, by the looks of it, is still in the books to win that title from Omega, which we will be talking about a little bit later on. Even though this is a SummerSlam review, we're still going to mention that, because that actually ties into the Raw Women's Title Triple Threat match. So please go check that out if you missed it. Links in the description. Also, if you missed the rundown for NXT TakeOver 36 with Joseph Conlon, shout out to him, Joseph Conlon of Big Fight Feel. He is awesome. He is awesome. I hope that he's watching right now, actually. Him and we dissected everything going down tonight inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. Unfortunately, it's in the Capitol Wrestling Center. We dissected everything going down at TakeOver 36. Please go and check that out after this video is, of course, over, before TakeOver is live on the air. Please make sure you hit that like button. Hit that like button. It greatly helps out the video, greatly helps out me, greatly helps out the channel. When you come on in, please hit that like button if you can. We want to get to at least 20-25 likes. And, of course, be sure to share out the stream on all platforms of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or Tumblr, whatever social media platform that you use. Please make sure you keep the chat alive. Keep the chat alive. Get as many people in here as possible. And, of course, hit the subscribe button and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. Why don't we get right into the matches that we have right here. So, we had a pre-show match, and it was announced that it would be Big E versus Baron Corbin. This was, of course, the match that was set up because Baron Corbin, in similar fashion to what happened with Shinsuke stole Corbin's crown. Corbin stole Big E's Money in the Bank contract. This was a very short, very simple match. This was a house show match at best. This match did not elapse 7 minutes. Very short, very simple match. Big E, he brought the aggression early. Big E missed the splash on the apron before Corbin sent Big E into the post twice. Big E sent into the post a third time. Big E tried to mount the comeback with a nice stretch muffler. We had Corbin breaking out and then he hit a deep 6 for a 2 count. Corbin tried to take the briefcase before Big E stopped him. Big E then pounced Corbin into the barricade, and then hit a suicide spear, which looked nasty. And then he hit the big ending in the ring for the 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Big E got the briefcase back. And we all thought that Big E was going to cash in. No. WC said, no. You want a Big E cash in? No. Now, WWE's got other plans other than a Big E cash in at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, this was the perfect opportunity for him to walk out the WWE champion, but you didn't do it. We got a lot to say about the WWE Championship match. Very short, simple, basic matchup. Big E gets the briefcase back. Does this continue? I don't know. Knowing WWE, it probably will continue. You know why? Because WWE, all they do is rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch. I don't think we saw one fresh matchup this past Friday on Smackdown. I don't think we saw one. Not one fresh matchup. So that was that. Main show. Main show started off with RK Bro versus AJ Styles and Omos. This is for the Raw Tag Team Championship. I don't know what they were going for here, but most of these matches, I don't know what they were doing. You, honest to God, could not have taken Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss off the show. You couldn't have taken Drew and Jinder off the show. You couldn't have taken the Mysterios and the Usos off the show, even though that was a decent match. You couldn't have taken those 3 matches off the show. Those 3 matches could have been taken off the show. You couldn't have given more time to this match. You couldn't have given more time to a potential Belair and Becky match. And plus, trust me, I got a lot of shit to say about that. Couldn't have given more time to that match. You could not have taken the matches off the show that inevitably meant nothing, and you couldn't have put a sole focus on making all of these matches feel worthy of the title of SummerSlam. This match, I don't know what they were going for. This match did not even elapse 8 minutes. This match went way too short. Honest to God, it felt rushed. I thought that they were trying to rush through everything, because you got to give time to the big matches. Why is it that Edge and Rollins and Cena and Reigns and Priest and Sheamus, why is it that only 3 matches got the ample amount of time to tell the proper story? That's what I don't understand. Why did you oversaturate this show with 11 matches? Why did you have this show go all the way to midnight? You could have easily shaved off an hour by taking away Bliss and Eva, the Mysterios and the Usos, and Drew and Jinder. You could have easily shaved off an hour, and you could have taken away Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura's segment. You could have taken away the Dripstick 2000 segment with Xavier Woods and Miz and Morrison. Why did we need that? Why did we need all this unnecessary bullshit? I really don't understand. I don't. So, RK Bro, Styles and Omos. Styles and Omos, they isolated Riddle fairly early. Orton tried to rally the crowd. Riddle nearly got to Orton before Riddle was stopped by AJ. We had a punt knee strike. Riddle then got the tag to Orton. Orton lit up Styles with a nice snap power slam. Omos was temporarily sent off the apron, draping DDT to Styles. Omos then pulled Styles out. Riddle then got chokeslammed on the apron. Omos tried to send Riddle into the post, but Riddle ended up sending Omos into the post. Styles then with a moonsault reverse DDT to Riddle. Randy Orton then got rolled up by Styles temporarily. Styles did not get the 3 count. And then we got Randy Orton hitting the RKO, and RK Bro win the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was the right outcome. This was the right outcome. This was a great moment. I would say this was a great moment for Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. And the crowd popped huge. The crowd definitely popped huge. And I was very, very happy for Matt Riddle. I was very, very happy for Randy Orton. It was a great moment. But this match went way too short. And this is a product of WWE oversaturating the show when they didn't need to. You could have taken 3 matches off of the show, and you could have given more time to the matches that you actually wanted to invest in. The crowd was actually invested in this match. You could have given more time to this match, and you could have given both teams more time to tell an actual story and get the crowd even more invested in it. I don't know what they were going for here, and I was very, very, very displeased with the length of this match. I don't know why, but at the end of the day, it was the right outcome. Great moment. I'm actually surprised they did the right outcome, considering some of the other shit that we saw on the show. But it was a great moment for Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. RK Bro easily has been the best thing about Monday Night Raw. The only good thing about Monday Night Raw. That's really not saying much, but I don't know how long that this is supposed to last. I don't know how long we are going to see them as Raw Tag Team Champions. I'd actually love to see Ali and Mansoor take the titles off of them. When? I don't know. I do not know. I'm guessing probably in December, maybe in January. I would wait, to be quite honest with you. I would actually wait. And I would actually give Riddle and Orton a solid reign with the titles. But I don't know how solid that reign could be, considering that this reign is going to be built on rematches and a tag division that's pretty much non-existent. The only thing that I'm hoping for is that Omos is gone. That's the only thing that I'm hoping for. Omos is gone, and Styles can go back to being singles. Because Styles, he has fallen so far from grace with this tag team with Omos. He really has. I love AJ Styles, but this tag team has made AJ Styles look weak as possible. This tag team with Omos has made Styles look insanely weak. He takes all the damage. I don't think Styles has even won a singles match in about 6-7 months. It is extremely frustrating. It really is. But RK Bro win the tag team titles. Right outcome, great moment. But the match, way too short, felt rushed, and very, very disappointed how WWE handled this match. Not as disappointed as the next match, which we're going to talk about. Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss. Let me get this straight. You leave Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ali, Mansoor, Cedric, Shelton, Tony Storm, Liv Morgan, Asuka. You leave all these individuals off the show, but you have Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss on this show. It's really all you need to know. This was perhaps the worst match of the year. Absolutely the worst match of the year. Worst match of the year, number 1. And possibly the worst match of the last decade. And I am very, very happy that we heard the "We Want Wyatt" chants. I am very, very happy that we were able to hear all of Allegiant Stadium chanting "We Want Wyatt." They tried to shut it down pretty quickly. Alexa, I don't know why Alexa Bliss is continuing to go forth with this. I really don't. Matter of fact, I don't feel sorry for Alexa Bliss at all. I don't feel sorry for Alexa Bliss at all. And I am extremely disappointed that Alexa Bliss, with the amount of pull that she has backstage, she refuses to speak up. She refuses to speak up and let them know that it's not right, that she is taking Bray Wyatt's character, and she's continuing to go forth with it after he got fired 3 weeks ago. It is a spit in the face to everything that Bray Wyatt did. It's a spit in the face to the women's division. And this match embodied John Laurinaitis', Vince McMahon's, and Bruce Pritchard's vision of women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is dead in the WWE. It's dead. You'd be lucky if we even get something halfway decent on NXT now. With the new edict going around in NXT, you don't think that's going to seep into the women's division? The women are going to be taught how to wrestle, how to portray themselves in front of the camera, and at the end of the day, if Vince McMahon does not like a woman that looks like a Victoria's Secret model, they're dead. Their careers are dead. Women's wrestling in WWE is dead. This match was the nail in the coffin. I don't want to hear a fucking peep out of anyone. I don't. This match was one of the worst matches of the entire year, the worst match of the year, and possibly the worst match of the last decade in the WWE. Bliss sat in the ring Indian style. You know that was a dig at CM Punk. Bliss was trying to toy with Eva. We want Wyatt chants broke out, rightfully so. Good on you, Las Vegas. Very, very happy on you for that. I would have taken some CM Punk chants, but that's just me. Eva Marie with terrible-looking knee strikes. She took Lily. She slapped Lily. She then taunted Bliss, and she used Lily to slap Bliss. So she slapped Bliss with the papier-mâché doll. She slapped Bliss with the papier-mâché doll. Bliss screamed, took the fight to Eva. Terrible-looking punches. Piper Niven told Bliss, "I believe in you." Twisted Bliss missed. Eva Marie nearly stole it. Bliss then hit a DDT on Eva Marie for the 1-2-3. And that was it. This was absolutely embarrassing. This was embarrassing. I honestly feel sorry. I feel sorry for Sasha. I feel sorry for Bianca. I feel sorry for Charlotte. Even Charlotte. Normally I would say fuck Charlotte Flair. I'm not even going to go there. I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for Bayley. I feel sorry for Asuka. I feel sorry for Rhea, for Ember, for Shayna. I feel sorry for everyone in NXT that came up through the rankings that had to work their ass off to make women's wrestling a top priority in the WWE, to make women's wrestling a must-see act. I feel bad for all of those individuals having to sit back and watch Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss embarrass themselves. Two women who can't wrestle themselves out of a plastic bag that you find at a ShopRite. It's fucking embarrassing. It really is. Spit in the face to women's wrestling. Afterwards, Piper Niven, she took the microphone and she said, "The loser of this match is Eva Marie." She then put on Eva's robe, flaunted it, and then left without Eva. The only thing that I can hope for is that this is the end. All that I can hope for is that this is the end. This is the end of the partnership between Eva Marie and Piper Niven, but knowing how John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon, knowing how they are, Piper Niven's not going anywhere. Piper Niven's not going anywhere. They named her Dewdrop. They changed her name to Dewdrop. You honestly think she's going anywhere with that name? And they're not going to change her name back to Piper Niven. They're not. They're not. I would not even be surprised. I would not even be surprised if she's released. I wouldn't. They have Eva Marie still on the roster. I wouldn't be surprised if after this partnership, Piper Niven, she loses to Eva Marie, and then she's released within the next 2 weeks. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, Vince is a big fan of Piper Niven. I think otherwise. I think otherwise. This was fucking terrible. And anyone that was associated with this match, anyone that even had this match as a thought in their mind. Anyone that wrote this match, that booked this match, that scripted this match, produced this match, anyone that had a hand in this match, and anyone that supported this match as well, you should be ashamed of yourself. Get out of the community. I don't need you. We don't need you ruining the community. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Damian Priest. Damian Priest versus Sheamus. This was for the United States Championship. For a good majority of the show, this was actually the match of the night. I would have to say this was probably the third best match on this show. One of the three good matches on this show. This was absolutely the third best match on the show. Damian Priest and Sheamus, I thought that they were going to be put in a position where the crowd was going to be pretty much dead, but they brought it. They brought it. And I'm very, very happy to see Damian Priest and Sheamus get this opportunity on a big stage. They brought it. And I was very, very pleased with what I saw. This was probably the best. This was probably the best the U.S. title looked in a long, long time. And I was very, very happy that they were given the time to showcase to us what they could do. So Priest took the fight to Sheamus early on. Nice broken arrow, very, very early on for a 2 count. Priest then with a step-up tope con hero. Looked like he kind of fucked up his back earlier, but he stayed alive. Sheamus then sent Priest back first into the post. He wore down Damian Priest. He had an Irish Curse backbreaker, and then he started to pose, and he flexed. Muscles up, being cocky, being very arrogant. So Priest then, he got power slammed into the mat. That got a 2 count. Priest came back with a tornado DDT. He mounted a comeback with a nice kick to the face and a diving spinning heel kick. That got a 2 count. Sheamus then with a rolling senton. He went up to the top. Priest tried to get a choke slam hold on him. He was looking for South of Heaven. Sheamus crotched him on the top rope. Hit a diving clothesline. And then an Alabama slam for a 2. Sheamus then headbutted Damian Priest with the mask. Priest then hit a boot to Sheamus as Sheamus went for the bro kick. And then Priest hit South of Heaven. That got a 2 count. Sheamus kicked out. Sheamus then with a punt knee strike right to the face as Damian Priest went for a springboard attack. Priest still kicked out. Sheamus then with a heel hook before Damian Priest ripped the protective mask off of Sheamus. So Sheamus is clearly good to go without the mask. I'm not sure why he still needs the mask after he's been without the mask for about... He's been with the mask for about, 2 months now? I think his nose is pretty much healed at this rate. So Priest ripped off the mask. He hit a spin kick to Sheamus, and then he hit the Reckoning. And 1, 2, 3, Damian Priest wins the United States Championship. This was a very, very good match with the right outcome. This should have been on... This should have been the first match on the show. This should have been the match that kicked off the show. You really couldn't have had these two go for 15 minutes like they did and kick off the show in the manner that they did. These two, out of everyone on the show, probably put on the most hard-hitting match of the night. Edge and Rollins, that was more of a story. Same thing with Roman and Cena. Great matches, we'll talk about it, but this match was the most hard-hitting match of the night. I don't understand why this match was not the first match on the show. It was very, 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 very good. So Damian Priest wins. Right outcome. Very, very happy for Priest. Do I expect much from Damian Priest and his U.S. title reign? The answer is no. The answer is no. I do not expect anything. I do not expect much. Matter of fact, I expect Damian Priest to feud with The Miz and Morrison tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. No question about it. I do not expect anything from Damian Priest and his U.S. title reign. They didn't do anything with Sheamus. They didn't do anything with Riddle. They didn't do anything with Apollo or Lashley or Andrade. They're not doing anything with Apollo as Intercontinental Champion. They didn't do anything with Big E as Intercontinental Champion. They're not doing anything with Shinsuke Nakamura as the Intercontinental Champion. Unless your name is Roman Reigns or Charlotte Flair, they will not portray you the way that you should be portrayed. They won't. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Very good match, right outcome, very happy for Priest, and this is a nice stepping stone for Damian Priest. Down the line, I can absolutely see Damian Priest possibly as a world champion if things do work out well. But at the end of the day, is this U.S. title reign going to be a title reign that we're going to invest our time in? Is it going to be a title reign to remember? The answer is no. The answer is no. History is our greatest asset. History is our greatest asset to predict the future. And if history has been any indication, Damian Priest and his U.S. title reign is going to be just like everybody else's title reign. It's going to be flat. It's going to be lackluster. He's going to receive a pinfall loss within the next month. Where does Sheamus go from here? I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't care, to be quite honest with you. To be quite honest with you, it's tough to care about anything that the WWE does. I just don't care about anything that the WWE does. Even Roman Reigns has slipped down a bit, especially with the build towards the Cena match. But this was a very good match. Very, very happy for both men. Very, very happy for Priest. He absolutely deserves it. Priest wins the United States title in a very good match, right outcome. This match should have absolutely opened the show. Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Usos. This is for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. Good match. Not going to sit here and tell you that, it was a bad match. It wasn't a bad match. It was one of the better matches on the show. But how many times have we seen this? We've seen this every week in some sort of capacity, whether it be Dominic versus Jay, Dominic versus Jimmy, Rey versus Jay, Rey versus Jimmy. We saw a tag team match just a month ago at Money in the Bank. How can we care about something when we see it over and over and over and over again? It is mind-boggling how WWE just expects us to care. Because, we're WWE. It's SummerSlam. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Was this a bad match? No. But at the end of the day, does anyone care? No. The Usos clearly weren't losing the championships, nor should they lose the championships, because Roman Reigns is at his peak right now, so are the Usos. So if Roman Reigns is at his peak, so should the Usos be. But at the end of the day, they gave the Usos the tag team titles because of the fact that they don't want to jeopardize Rock versus Reigns at WWE WrestleMania 38. Like I said, not a bad match. Not a bad match at all. The Mysterios were in control early. Before Jay made the blind tag, they isolated Dominic. Dominic fought back, hit a tag to Rey. Rey lit up Jimmy Uso. Moonsault DDT on Jimmy for a 2. We then had a senton on Jimmy, a forearm to Jay. Jimmy came back on Rey Mysterio with a nice super kick to the jaw. Rey kicked out. We had a tag to Jay, super kick in midair. Uso splash, but Rey was able to kick out still. Dominic then got dropped on the apron. Rey moved as Jimmy went for the splash. Rey hit the 619 to Jimmy. He went for a PK on Jay. Jay was taken out momentarily. He then went for the frog splash, but he took too much time. Jimmy was able to get the knees up. Usos with a double super kick sandwich. 2 super kicks meeting in the middle. Kind of like a DIY-esque super kick move, if you know what I'm talking about. And then Jay with the splash right to the back. And the Usos retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Good match, but there's no reason to care. I'm sorry. There's no reason to care. Usos weren't losing the titles, and we've seen this match in some sort of capacity leading up to this pay-per-view every single week on SmackDown. And to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again at Extreme Rules. I'm going to be quite honest with you, I would not be surprised if we see it at Extreme Rules. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. What happens now? I'm not sure. Maybe they continue the teases of the Usos potentially being the team to split up the Mysterios. Maybe we see Rey turn on Dominic. Maybe we see Dominic turn on Rey. I don't know. I don't know what they have planned for the Mysterios. But breaking up another tag team, not a very wise decision. But I can absolutely see this match happening again at Extreme Rules. Why? Because that's all that WWE does. Rematch, 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 rematch. We had Rick Boogs in the ring, and he's over, shredding on the guitar. He says this little music interlin. Not sure if it was interlin or interval. Not sure what he said. To be quite honest with you, I really wasn't paying attention to too much because his show was absolute trash. He goes, we're all going to rock with the true king of WWE and the new Intercontinental Champion, King Nakamura. He did his scream and all that. Excellent guitar solo. Nakamura came out doing his thing, and then they partied with Pat McAfee. And that was pretty much it. So let me ask this. I ask Vince, I ask Bruce, I ask Nick Khan, People Power, John Laurinaitis. I ask all of these guys. What was the point of giving away Nakamura's IC title win on SmackDown 2 weeks ago on SmackDown? What was the point of giving away Nakamura's IC title win on SmackDown if you were going to feature Nakamura and Boogs on the show anyway? You just wasted them away in a nothing segment doing something that we've all seen them do. And WWE doesn't even realize that the more that they overexpose something, the more that people are going to get sick of it, no matter how good it is. So you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot with Nakamura and Boogs. If Nakamura and Boogs were going to be on the show, why didn't they just do the IC title match between Nakamura and Cruz on the show? Did anyone ever think of that? Or did that one go right over everyone's head? This company is legitimately clueless. This company is legitimately out of their mind. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do and they just don't care. They just don't care. They don't give a shit. There was no point of this happening on the show, taking up time away from something else. Meanwhile, you could have saved everyone the waste of time, the waste of segments. We had so many wasted segments on this show. Could have saved everyone the waste of time, and you just could have put the IC title match on the show and have Nakamura beat Cruz at SummerSlam. Would have made for a better moment, would have made sense, and it would have made for a better overall scenario for getting Boogs and Nakamura on the show. But what do I know? What do I know? Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. I'm really trying to keep my cool on this one. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It never happened. Greg Hamilton instead announced that Banks was unable to compete. So they announced that Bianca will defend against Carmella. Belair then took the mic and said, she goes, Sasha Banks might not be tonight, but when we meet in this ring, I'm going to whoop your ass. Pretty much, she said something along the lines of that. I didn't really take down exactly what she said. But then she said, I was going to take out my frustrations on you, meaning Carmella. Now, originally I was saying, what a letdown Now, we still ended up getting a letdown, but in a different manner. It really just goes to show you how lazy WWE really is if they really would have gone forth with Carmella and Belair. But Belair versus Carmella was about to happen. All of a sudden, Becky Lynch all of a sudden made her return. Crowd pop huge. They were showing Becky Lynch just soaking in the atmosphere. She then took out Carmella, sent Carmella into the steps. She stood face to face with Belair. She took the mic and she said, "What do you say the EST and the Man blow the roof off the joint for the Smackdown Women's Championship?" Crowd was chanting for Becky, and Bianca said, "Let's go." Now, in theory, on the surface, this is a great match. It's a great match. It's a great moment. It's a SummerSlam-worthy match. But here's something that a lot of people aren't going to say, because everyone is just blinded by positivity, even though there's little to no positive about the WWE product altogether. Why is Becky Lynch coming back to get a SmackDown Women's title match? Why is it that Becky Lynch can just come back, take out Carmella, who, by the way, didn't do anything to earn a title opportunity to begin with? She takes out Carmella, she just asks for a title opportunity, and Bianca gives it to her. So, by that logic, the championship means nothing. Anyone can just come out, "Hey, I would like a title shot." "Oh, you can get that title shot." Championship means nothing, number one. And number two, Bianca looks like an idiot, especially after what just happened. Now, instead of going forth with this match, having a competitive match, and having Bianca Belair, your new shining star, someone who should be a key pillar in the women's division going into the future, someone who should be an individual that you should be investing in, and you should be protecting, and you should be grooming to be a future face of not only the women's division, but of the entire company for years to come. Bianca Belair, at the beginning of this year, won the Women's Royal Rumble. She came out at number 3, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. She came out at number 3. She lasted all the way until the end, lasting over 50 minutes to win the whole thing. And she wins the whole thing. Then, she goes into WrestleMania, right? She goes into WrestleMania. She main events WrestleMania night number 1 with Sasha Banks. Great match. Second best match of the night. She beats Sasha Banks. Right? She goes into a feud with Bayley. She beats Bayley. Not once, but twice. And one of those times was inside, might I remind you, Hell in a Cell, where she was bruised, battered, sent into the cell, beaten with a kendo stick, beaten with a chair, ragdolled around the cage, spent 20 minutes inside that cage, and she still came back and beat Bayley. She beat Carmella multiple times. She beat Zelina Vega multiple times. She beat everyone that was put in front of her. Out comes Becky Lynch. We get a SmackDown Women's Championship title match. Becky Lynch punches Bianca Belair and then delivers one of the weakest rock bottoms that there's ever been delivered. Pins Bianca Belair in 15 seconds. 15 seconds to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm really trying not to lose my cool with this one. I really am. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin with this. I really don't. I don't really want to make comparisons, and I don't really want to put this on the same level as what we saw 2 years ago. But you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of The Fiend. Remember when The Fiend first came around? Remember when The Fiend was booked like an unstoppable monster? And The Fiend was booked strong. The Fiend was booked like a legitimate threat, right? The Fiend, he took 2,000 different curb stomps at the hands of Seth Rollins. Curb stomp on the exposed concrete, curb stomp in the ring, curb stomp on the wooden platform in the crowd in Saudi Arabia. He was put through a table, super kicked into electrical equipment, which blew up. He was hit repeatedly in the head with a ladder, kendo sticks, bashed over the head with a toolbox, whipped with a leather strap, DDT'd on the announce table, and he came back. He came back and won after all of that. And then he gets to Saudi Arabia at Super Showdown. He faces Bill Goldberg, and he loses to 4 spears and a botched jackhammer in 3 minutes after all of that, and was buried. That's exactly what we saw here. We saw, not as bad, but a Fiend scenario with Bianca Belair. WWE wasted all of our times investing in Belair. Investing in a woman who should easily be at the forefront of the division. A woman who should easily be the next big thing. A woman that we connect with. A woman who, though has been booked terribly in terms of a character perspective, is a great pro wrestler. She's been booked fairly decently in the ring as far as her SmackDown Women's title reign relates. A woman who is relatable. She came from nothing. And the fans love her. Everyone gravitates towards Bianca Belair. She's one of us. A woman who should easily be the next in line after the 4 Horsewomen. One of the next in line after the 4 Horsewomen. A woman who can easily carry the women's division on her back. Someone who you had a job with. You had a job with to build her credibility. You had a job with to make sure that Bianca Belair was looked at as the next big thing, as a woman who was going to be taken seriously as a key pillar that held up this women's division for the next 10, 15 years. You had that opportunity. And all of that, up in smoke. Up in smoke, all because you wanted to give the title back to Becky Lynch and Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon. This wasn't just because of Becky Lynch. This match lasted 15 seconds because they wanted to place a staple on women's wrestling. Women's wrestling's not a draw. You should not care about women's wrestling. 15 seconds is all you are worth. That's it. That's pretty much it. There's really nothing more to say. I don't want to hear a single thing out of anyone. No, we're not letting this play out. No, this is not a story. Bianca Belair is buried. Bianca Belair is buried. She's done. No one is ever going to look at Bianca Belair the same ever again. No one is ever going to take her seriously ever again. After lasting 50 plus minutes in the Royal Rumble from number 3, winning, main eventing WrestleMania against Sasha, beating Bayley inside Hell in a Cell, beating Carmella and Zelina Vega multiple times, only to lose to Becky in 15 seconds. Don't give me the excuse that she wasn't prepared. She was in her full-blown wrestling attire, ready to compete. 15 seconds. And Becky Lynch is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. I want everyone to listen to me very, very carefully. And you're going to hear this here first. Pop was great for Becky. Becky Lynch is back, rejoicing that she's back. Now the division's worse, even with her back, after what just happened. Doesn't matter who's in the division. The creative writing and the booking is still the same. The same people are still running the show. But I want you guys to listen to this. You heard this here first. Becky Lynch is just a few wins away from becoming the next Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, we all hate her because she's constantly in the title picture. We all hate Charlotte Flair because Charlotte Flair is constantly winning championships over the young, up-and-coming talent like Rhea Ripley and women like Shayna Baszler. Even though she's not necessarily young, she's a new talent. Women like Naomi. She's being pushed over women like Asuka. Pushed over women like Nikki Cross when Nikki Cross didn't have this shitty superhero gimmick. We hate Charlotte Flair because she's constantly pushed into the title picture over women that we know should be there. Bianca Belair is a woman that we all know should be here. She should be in that title picture. She should be at the top of the women's division for an extended period of time. She should not be treated like trash. She should not be treated like an afterthought. She should be positioned as the next big star in the division. She is a marketable individual, whether you like to admit it or not. Crowd loves Bianca. Becky Lynch just came back and beat a fan favorite. I don't care if Becky's a fan favorite or not. Becky came back and beat a woman who many people admire. Many people admire. Many people look up to. Many people see as an inspiration. A woman that could have easily been the next big thing. And Becky Lynch buried her just as bad, if not worse, than what happened with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair twice. If they keep this up, the crowd is going to start revolting. The crowd is going to start going against Becky Lynch. If Becky Lynch continues doing what she's doing and they continue to book Becky Lynch the way that they book her, constantly in the title picture, going over talent that we know should be there, she's going to become Charlotte Flair 2.0. She's going to become Charlotte Flair 2.0, and there's going to be no saving her. There's going to be no saving her. Instead of putting on a competitive match, even if it was a competitive match, I wouldn't have agreed with the outcome if Belair would have lost. I wouldn't have agreed with the outcome. But at least I wouldn't have been saying, oh, Belair's buried. 15 seconds. That's your SmackDown Women's Championship title match. 15 seconds, and Becky Lynch is the new champion. How could anyone even support that in the slightest? Everything that you did with Bianca, everything that you did to build her up, and everyone that's invested in Bianca, you spit, pissed, and shit all over Bianca Belair and everything that you did with her dating back to the Royal Rumble. A few more wins like that, and Becky Lynch is going to be the next Charlotte Flair. And you don't want that. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't. That was one of the worst booking decisions that I think I've ever fucking seen. Seems like WWE's trying to one-up themselves. Oh, we buried Keith Lee. Oh, we buried Karrion Kross. We're burying Dakota Kai on main event. How can we outdo ourselves? How can we top that? How can we over-accentuate on the fact that we do what we want because we're World Wrestling Entertainment? How can we over-accentuate the fact that NXT is shit? And that plays another part of it as well. Bianca Belair came straight from NXT. She's a Triple H woman. She's a Triple H project. Need I say more? Need I say more? This was absolutely fucking terrible. Bianca Belair is buried. No one will ever look at her the same ever again. It's not a story. It is not a angle in which we need to invest our time in. It's not, let's wait and see what happens. I'm done. Done with Bianca. Bianca is buried. She's never going to see that title again. Even though if she would have lost it in a competitive match, she was never going to see that title again anyway. But she's never going to see that title again. She's never seeing the title again. Bianca is buried. You may as well just hang it up. I wouldn't be surprised if they release Bianca as well. Wouldn't be surprised at all. It was confirmed that in October, Crown Jewel will be making a return to Saudi Arabia. September 26th, I apologize, can't even read my own handwriting. September 26, 2021, it was confirmed that Extreme Rules will take place. So we got 2 pay-per-views announced right there. Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre, another match that should not have taken place. This match, thankfully, did not elapse 4 minutes. Mahal was hit with a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. Mahal with a super kick for a 2. Drew mounted a comeback with 4 belly-to-belly suplexes and a future shock DDT. Claymore to the face. Drew McIntyre wins. Goodbye, Jinder Mahal. Hope to never see you on TV again. But for some reason, I have a feeling that this is going to continue. It's going to continue into Extreme Rules, and we're going to get some type of stipulation match. Probably Angela on a fucking pole match. Yeah, that's really extreme. 4 minutes. Less than 4 minutes. Claymore to the face. Drew McIntyre wins. Thank God. Why is Jinder Mahal still on the roster? Why does Jinder Mahal still have a job? That's what I want to know. Nikki Trash. Nikki Trash versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. This is for the Raw Women's Championship. Do you care? Because I don't. I don't care. I never cared. And this match was a complete waste of time. Not as bad as I expected it to be, but it was still a complete waste of time. Nikki Trash booed as per usual. The outcome of this match was actually a little surprising. So Flair no selling as per usual. Nikki Trash with a tornado DDT for a 2 before Ripley came back with a German suplex to Flair as Flair hit a fall-away slam to Nikki. We had a missile drop kick by Ripley to Flair for a 2. Nikki with a crossbody to both women on the floor. Flair with a double DDT in the ring. And then Flair with a corkscrew moonsault, taking out both women on the floor. The landing was actually pretty hard. It looked like one of her boots actually hit Nikki Cross right in the face. And then Nikki Cross's the back of her head hit the barricade. It looked kind of nasty. Ripley then with a submission on Flair. Flair reversed it into the figure 8 before Nikki broke it up. Hit a swinging neck breaker, but Rhea Ripley saved it. We had a DDT by Nikki to Rhea Ripley. Crossbody missed. Flair locked in the figure 8. And Nikki Trash tapped out. Charlotte Flair gets the tap out win. Terrible match. Terrible outcome. Flair still being shoved down everyone's throats. Who cares? Now, I did say the outcome was surprising. The outcome was surprising because Ric Flair is ultimately going to end up in AEW. Ric Flair is ultimately going to end up in AEW. Some way, shape, or form. He's ultimately going to end up in AEW. And we are going to see Ric Flair tag team in an alliance. Not necessarily tag team, but he's going to be in alliance with Andrade, and he will be yet another manager to Andrade El Idolo. You don't think that AAA appearance was a one-off, do you? Omega is going to inevitably drop that championship he's inevitably going to drop that AAA Mega Championship to Andrade, right? It's either going to be on Dynamite or Rampage, and Ric Flair's going to make his debut, and he's going to be standing side by side with Andrade, and Andrade's going to win the AAA Mega Championship. WWE knows that. WWE knows that. It's interesting that they gave the title back to Charlotte, considering that her father's going to go to AEW. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they truthfully don't care. Maybe they adore Charlotte too much. Maybe they adore Charlotte too much. Or, now here's a scenario. Now, I'm not sure how accurate this is. Maybe, just maybe, WWE heard the boos. Maybe WWE was tired of constantly altering the crowd reaction. Maybe WWE was tired of Nikki Trash being a complete fucking failure as it is. Although I'm not sure how accurate that is, considering that Vince loves characters and Nick Khan, he wants Marvel and DC. I wouldn't be surprised if they were legitimately trying to make it work as much as possible, but maybe they realized, hey, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Maybe they realized it wasn't worth it, and maybe they realized that this gimmick is trash, that this gimmick's not getting over. So they gave the title back to Charlotte, and they had Nikki ASS, they had her tap out. I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki Cross is released. Maybe they realized, hey, we like it, but it's not working. We're getting sick and tired of editing these crowd reactions. You know what? We have no use for you as the Raw Women's Champion anymore, and we're going to ultimately release you when we want to. I don't know. I legitimately would not be surprised if Nikki Cross is released. What happens with Charlotte? I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if they go to yet another match and another program with Rhea Ripley. Who cares? I don't know what happens with Charlotte. Maybe they give her a longer title reign. Maybe they give the title right back to Nikki Ash. I'm not sure what their plan is. But this outcome either showed me that they don't care that Ric Flair is going to AEW inevitably to team with Andrade and be the manager of Andrade, or they realize that Nikki ASH ain't working. It's a terrible gimmick. Crowd is booing it. It's not getting over. And they took the title off of her. And they're going to keep her off of television and bury her because they're not going to do the sanity gimmick. And then they'll ultimately release her. And that's pretty much it. Best of luck in your future endeavors, Miss Nikki Trash. When's that happening? I don't know. I don't care. Nikki Cross, she sacrificed her dignity, the quality of her character, and her self-respect. You know what? I'm not even going to feel sorry for her. Seth Rollins versus Edge. Absolutely the match of the night. These two told a brilliant story. This match was excellent from the get-go. Edge came out to brood music, rising up from a ring of fire. He had Terminator sunglasses on. He looked great. So Rollins, he took advantage early on by slamming Edge's head into the steps. He was wearing down Edge. Rollins then with a sling blade. Edge was on the defense. Rollins with a springboard knee for a 2. Edge came back with a flapjack. Rollins shoved Edge off the top rope and hit a beautiful frog splash for a 2 count. Edge then came back with an avalanche, swinging neck breaker. Looked great. It looked great. Rollins hit hard. He sold the shit out of it. Edge then came back with an Edgecution for a 2. Edge with the Edge-O-Matic for a 2. Rollins then with a superplex Falcon Arrow combination, close 2 count. Edge then reversed a pedigree into a Glam Slam, tribute to his wife, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix, of course. Rollins was able to kick out. Rollins then with a Hangman's Neckbreaker to Edge on the ropes. Rollins then missed the stomp. Edge with a spear through the ropes. Very Big E-esque. Edge actually does a safer spear through the ropes than Big E. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems like when Edge does it, and Rollins, being the professional that he is, Rollins goes with it. Rollins goes with Edge. It seems like when other people are trying to take a Big E suicide spear, it's almost like Big E. It's almost like they're trying to forcefully stop Big E and cut his momentum down. And Big E almost kills himself every single time he does that. That needs to stop. You need to start doing suicide spears like Edge. So, Edge was looking for a spear in the ring. He went for it, but Rollins countered into a pedigree. Great counter. Edge kicked out. Rollins went up to the top. He went for the Phoenix Splash. He missed. Spear connects. Rollins turned inside out. 1, 2. Rollins kicked out. Rollins then with a forearm to the back of the neck and another one. Super kick to the back of the neck. Rollins then got caught as he went for the stomp. Edge with the educator locked in, but Rollins was able to reverse it. Edge then locked in the cross face. Locked in deep. Edge bounced Rollins' head off of the mat. Edge with a sleeper hold, crossface, and Rollins tapped out. He tapped, and Rollins loses to Edge. Excellent match. Match of the night, absolutely. Although the outcome was shocking. I don't know what this means because I had it in my mind that Rollins was going to win for 2 reasons. Number 1, Edge is contractually obligated to 7 matches per year. And this was his 7th. This was his 7th match per year. And we all thought that he was going to go away. Or at least I thought he was going to go away until the Royal Rumble of next year. But he ended up winning. I also had it in my mind that Rollins would win because Roman Reigns is going to need some opponents. He's going to need some opponents going into the fall, specifically because of the fact that Roman Reigns, he's not losing the title anytime soon. And Rollins, he's already a made man. He could retire tomorrow and he'll be a Hall of Famer. Rollins is not going to really be affected by a loss to Roman Reigns because Rollins has already done it all. So at the end of the day, Rollins versus Roman would have been the natural progression of things. Edge ended up winning. I don't know what this means. Does Edge stick around? Maybe. Maybe he does. Maybe Edge is catching up on all the time that he missed in 2020 after he got injured at the hands of Randy Orton. And he was out for 7-8 months. But then he came back. So, he's been on WWE television quite consistently as of lately. Maybe Edge is sticking around. Maybe this continues going into Extreme Rules or maybe even into Crown Jewel. I don't know. Maybe we get a 3-match series with Edge and Rollins. I don't know. But at the end of it, outside of that, I can't really give you a logical explanation as to why Edge came out victorious here. Rollins was the one that needed the win because Roman needs opponents. But after what happened in the main event of SummerSlam, I don't know. But that's the Crown Jewel match, just so you know. But the match was excellent. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens as far as Edge and Rollins going into the fall. Miz and Morrison, they were in the ring. This was terrible. They came out to the arena early, actually, with a big water truck. Said that they had a surprise. They had a big surprise. Prepare to be soaked by the Dripstick 2000. Miz and Morrison were arguing over who had it. Xavier Woods came out with a water gun. The Dripstick 2000 was pretty much a water gun attached to a gallon of water. Those big multi-gallons of water that you carry on your back. And Miz said to give it back. Xavier Woods was doing a Razor Ramon impersonation, and then he sprayed them both with the Dripstick 2000. Fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Who gives a shit? Goldberg. Oh, by the way, we actually got Logan Paul taken on the privilege, quote unquote. Not really a privilege, but Logan Paul is going to be on Moist TV on Monday, tomorrow. Oy vey. Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. This is for the WWE Championship. I don't know what the fuck they were going for. This was a complete fucking waste of time. This was a waste of time. I don't know what they were going for here. I have a theory as to what's happening next, unfortunately. I have a theory as to what's happening next, and people, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. So, they locked up. They circled each other and they locked up. Rather odd. Goldberg actually backed Lashley into the corner. Lashley got taken down with a flying shoulder tackle. It's like the most that Goldberg's ever done ever since he came back to the WWE. This is probably the longest match that Goldberg's ever wrestled since he came back. Flying shoulder tackle, power slam, and a world's strongest slam. So Goldberg doing other wrestling moves besides a jackhammer and a spear. Goldberg with a lariat. Lashley with some hammer blows to the back. Lashley went for the jackhammer. Goldberg tried to reverse it, but Lashley with a flatliner. He went to the top before Goldberg threw him off the top. Goldberg went to the floor. After MVP pulled Lashley out, Goldberg gave Lashley a spear. Goldberg was then struck in the knee with MVP's cane behind the referee's back. So that was the target focus of the match. Lashley then with a chop block. Pop-up spinebuster. Goldberg tried to break the hurt lock, and he did. Another chop block. Lashley went for the spear. Goldberg was clutching his knee. Lashley then drove Goldberg's knee into the post 2 times. Goldberg could not stand. The referee had to stop the match because Goldberg could not stand because of his knee. And I knew this was a work. I didn't know where they were going with it, but I knew this was a work. Lashley then took a chair. He started beating Goldberg's leg with the chair. Crowd were actually cheering for it. Surprise, surprise. Because they don't like Bill Goldberg. But of course, Bill Goldberg to Vince McMahon is still a draw, right? That's why Raw can't even break 2 million. Goldberg kept getting up. Lashley kept assaulting him. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Gage, Goldberg's son, came out of nowhere and he jumped on Lashley's back with a sleeper. Lashley had no idea who it was, and he ended up putting Gage in the hurt lock. MVP tried to back him off. MVP then took the mic and he said, "There's no way Lashley could have known that that was Goldberg's son. We had no idea. But still, your winner, the almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley." Goldberg then screamed, "I'm gonna kill you." And that was that. This was fucking terrible. It's a waste of time, waste of an angle, waste of a match. And why was this done? I'll tell you why this was done. With Lesnar facing Reigns now, after what happened, with Brock Lesnar facing Roman Reigns, well, whenever that may be, probably a crown jewel, with Lesnar facing Reigns, Goldberg has nobody. Goldberg's got nobody. I thought that they were going to do Lesnar and Lashley at the crown jewel pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. But no, they're doing Lesnar and Roman. Goldberg said that he has 2 more matches left on his contract. He's got 2 more matches left on his contract, all right? Right? I thought, and many people thought, we were going to get those 2 matches next year. Apparently we're not. Apparently it's going to be much, much different. Maybe, based on what happened here, this is continuing, unfortunately. Because WWE is completely out of stars to push. They have no new stars that they've even built up in the slightest to stand a chance against Bobby Lashley. So they bring back Goldberg, and they're going to have Goldberg continue this feud with Lashley going into Crown Jewel. They're going to throw in an extra 1 or 2 million on top of the 2 million that Goldberg's already getting paid. And we're going to have a second match between these two, unfortunately. This was fucking terrible. I don't even have any more words to describe it. No one wants to see this. Nobody asked for it. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. This was nothing more than a angle because we're about to get another match because WWE has absolutely no stars left to push. None. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus John Cena. This is for the Universal Championship. Now, this was a very good match. I love the story that they told. The build was terrible, though. But this was a very good match. Cena and Reigns, they brought it. They told a very nice story. I was thoroughly pleased with what they produced. They did a very, very, very good job. And I don't think anyone has any complaints. I'm probably Danielle's probably having a lot of complaints right now, specifically because of the fact that our man Cena didn't come out victorious. Don't worry, Danielle. Cena's still sticking around for a few more weeks at least. So, Roman Reigns was toying with Cena early on, playing up to the crowd. Cena kept rolling up Reigns for a 2. Cena kept getting shut down by Roman. Every offensive flurry was shut down. Cena with the typical comeback. 5-knuckle shuffle was stopped. Reigns locked in the guillotine. Cena was able to break out of it. But Roman Reigns hit a Superman punch. Cena with a kick in the 5-knuckle shuffle. 1 AA connects. Reigns kicked out. STF was locked in, but Reigns was able to get to the ropes. Reigns went for the spear on the floor. Cena caught Reigns mid-spear, hit him with an AA through the announce table. Cena then rolled him back into the ring for a 1, a 2, but Roman Reigns kicked out. Reigns then with a mid-air powerbomb as Cena went for a diving leg drop. Cena kicked out. Reigns then with another Superman punch. Cena kicked out. Cena then dragged Reigns up to the top rope. Cena with an avalanche attitude adjustment. Reigns kicked out again. Reigns was then mocked by Cena. They started trading punches back and forth. We had 2 Superman punches and Reigns with a thunderous spear. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns gets the win. Very good match. A little bit of a modified finisher fest, but that's probably my only criticism of the match. Reigns then stood over Cena with the title, but then all of a sudden, we hear that famous music, and Brock Lesnar emerges looking like Mordecai. For those of you people that watched WWE back in 2004, you know who I'm talking about. Heyman was cowering in the corner. He didn't know what to make of it. He was scared to death. Lesnar then stepped into the ring, stood face to face with Reigns, and then Reigns backed off and left. Lesnar then stood tall. And it looks like Lesnar's actually looking a little less muscly. Looks like that he may be off the juice a little bit. Obviously, Lesnar was on the juice. You can't tell me that he wasn't. But this was a very good match. Normally, I would have a problem with it, but I feel as though the story's going to be Paul Heyman. Stories is going to be Paul Heyman, and I feel as though Brock, I don't know. Maybe Brock could play somewhat of a likable babyface. I don't know. I'm not going to completely shit on this yet. Everything else outside of the 3 matches, outside of Reigns and Cena, Rollins and Edge, and Priest and Sheamus, everything else was shit. But I'm not going to shit on this just yet. I want to wait and see how this plays out, because this, maybe, just maybe, they might be able to tell a good story. With the Paul Heyman guy aspect, and how Lesnar's coming back to humble Roman, and how Lesnar has a score to settle with Roman. But ultimately, Roman's going to get the win. Roman's going to get the win at Crown Jewel, and Roman is ultimately going to continue his Universal title reign going into the fall, and into Christmas, and into the new year. So I'm not going to shit on this completely. But ladies and gentlemen, SummerSlam was a major disappointment. One of the worst SummerSlam events of all time, and leaps and bounds the worst pay-per-view of the year. I did my best. People. Hopefully it was adequate enough for your liking. Thank you very much for joining me here on the channel. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. That wraps up the rewind for SummerSlam 2021. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all of those links in the description. Tonight we got TakeOver. Tomorrow we got the rewind for TakeOver 36. Of course, I'll be taking my notes for the shows for Raw, Dynamite, NXT UK. No more NXT reviews because fuck NXT and whatever they're doing, because the brand is absolutely dead. But regardless, I thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. It means a lot. I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind, and hopefully I will catch you guys with a little bit more energy, a little extra pep in my step when we review NXT TakeOver 36. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.